Hi, everybody. We are here to debate the issue of immigrants and refugees coming from other countries where terrorist groups are based should be allowed to immigrate to other countries. On my left-hand side, we have the negative group, and on my right-hand side, we have the affirmative group. Let's start with the proposal and the arguments of the affirmative side. You have 3 minutes.
So, first of all, we truly believe that immigrants and refugees are acceptable because they provide diverse benefits to all of us, like we will talk about now. So, first of all, for aging populations, immigrants can be useful to support the economic model. So, many developed nations are facing a big challenge. Their populations are going gray. So sometime in the not too distant future, the number of retirees is going to surpass the number of workers. That's really bad. So it can lead to an economic and even social unrest. Another good thing that immigrants enter to a country is that they can take any job. In their first few years in the US, refugees are quick to fill gaps in the labor markets in industries that are struggling to find workers. On the flip side, refugees boast an unprecedented rate of entrepreneurship, and as a result, actually generate jobs in many sectors. In fact, recent reports show that refugees create jobs at a rate of 30% higher than US-born citizens. To finish that, we also know that refugees provide diversity benefits to all of us. It's been shown that diversity makes us smarter, more creative, and harder working. Not only that, it's equally clear that the benefits of classrooms provide big advantage to students, like higher test scores and a higher likelihood of enrolling in college. And while challenges like overcoming systemic racism remain, diverse societies nonetheless tend to thrive economically and culturally.
Thank you. The negative side has 1 minute to make any questions. Do you have any? Okay. So let's go on to the negative side arguments. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, so first of all, we'll talk about the situation that's a high number of immigrants that will be without control in a country. So like an invasion. So the first thing is that the country would have more people to sustain. So the entrance of immigrants and refugees causes a significant increase in the number of people in the country, what can lead to overpopulation. And like that, the government can't afford the debts and can't invest money enough in population needs due to the large number of people. A situation that we can see that overcrowding is in Brazil. Is in Brazil. With the arrival of Venezuelan immigrants in the country, most of them are in the precarious circumstance because the government cannot support them, and so they pass hungry and live on the streets. Another thing is that even though immigrants helping the economy by working, it's not sufficient to offset the pressure that placed on the market. Another point was the human suffering and the humanitarian crisis that these people would suffer. So these immigrants in a lot of cases are in a bad economic situation, and then they don't have enough capital to start a new life in other countries. So they live in the streets suffering because of the cold, hunger, for example. A fact that proves this is that in the last survey made by migrants make up about 70% of the homeless, thus encouraging the entry of immigrants that situation only worsen. And then a lot of criminals could enter in the country. So another point is that a high number of people that enter this country generally have people in illegal situations in their country of origin. And those people of bad nature can enter in the country that receive the immigrants, and thus possibly will increase the number of violence cases. One example was in Germany that I studied get the result that the percentage of violence increased about 10%, and 92% of this case had been done by immigrants. And comment that the solution that the government thinks that should solve this problem, if the number of immigrants that enter in the country should be less than what was entering.
Okay, thank you. Right on time. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, so let's go to the rebuttal. The affirmative side has 2 minutes to do the counter-arguments.
Okay.
Go.
In fact, there are many people to support, but with the influx of immigrants, the working population has increased, balancing the country's income with the number of people to be supported. In relation to human suffering, we have an example in Brazil with the use of the Bolsa Família program that assists needy people with the help of the government, which at the moment doesn't only assist native but also immigrants, such as the case of the Syrian refugee whose name is Ali. After arriving in Brazil, become a poor person, however, with the help of the family grant, he can sustain himself. Like we said before, the immigrants are more than acceptable in a lot of cases. They are the solution of many situations, and then it's more an advantage for us.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions? No? Okay. So let's go on to your counter-arguments. You have 2 minutes.
So our first counter-argument is that refugees, they can take any places of workers of the country. So in relation to the possibility of having more people to work in the host country, this is actually wrong with the job seekers who were born in the country. After all, they are preventing people in their country from working for cheaper labor or by simply immigrant labor, placing the natives in situation of unemployment and poverty. Another point is that they can take any job. So reinforcing our idea that we would have more people to support. After all, with the larger number of people to work, in addition to the higher unemployment for the natives, will be an additional problem for the government to deal with. And this will probably cause the larger number of people to support tax increases and, as been said before, the employment of the work population of the country. And last but not least, that would probably be the inability to give education, because another point that harms immigrants is that it is difficult to provide education for all of the immigrants who carry children. After all, based on our reality that we live in Brazil, many of our children cannot attend the schools, even if they are schools for a number of reasons, one of which is the lack of place for students.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions? No? Okay. So now both of you will have 1 minute for your conclusion. Let's start with the affirmative side. You have 1 minute for your conclusion. Can you go?
Like we said before, the immigrants are more than acceptable. In a lot of cases, there are a solution of many situations, and then it's more an advantage for us.
Okay, thanks. And the negative conclusion, 1 minute, go.
And about you, do you really think that with a high number of immigrants coming for our country is good for us, with less food, disponibility of jobs, homes, etc.? Of course, it isn't happen for good for us. So the entry of immigrants isn't enough to suffer the situations, the bad situation that we have of our routine.
That's it? Okay, thanks. So now I'll have 2 minutes to critique and judge and see who won. So none of you did an introduction, none of you explained any terms, but both sides did all arguments, finished all of them, but none of you had questions. the negative side finished all three counter-arguments when the affirmative side only had two counter-arguments. And the conclusion of the negative side seemed more complete and more prepared than the affirmative side, which makes me conclude that the negative side has won this debate. Thank you. That's it.